Plenty of W flags have been flying at Wrigley Field this weekend as Cubs pitchers have shut down the crew for 3 consecutive days. And don't sleep on the defense. We've seen shades of 2016. Today, the Cubs go for the 4-game sweep. Next. The sun is out once again, and slowly but surely spring is arriving, and the Cubs today go for the 4-game series sweep. The Brewers came into this set winners of 8 in a row, but the Cubs have won the first 3 so far this weekend. Happy Sunday to you, and Jim DeShays and Len Casper with you. The Cubs and the Brewers will get started in about 20 minutes. It's been a fun series, incredibly well pitched.
Yeah, it's been a low run scoring environment because of the cold weather, but the Cubs pitchers have really rounded into form here. Last time through the rotation, they've been outstanding. They've been good against the Brewers in the series up in Milwaukee to start the year, and then again here this weekend. Dominant stuff from Hendricks, Darvish, Quintana, and now Chatwood gets a shot today.
We'll talk more about today's starter, Tyler Chatwood, but the last 5 guys through the rotation all have been great. Let's go back to Thursday night, the Kyle and Kyle show. This is Kyle Schwarber with a home run. It was the only run of the ball game.
Yeah, there hasn't been a lot of slugging going on in this series for either club. I think each club has 4 extra base hits. Schwarber with a line drive home run, continuing his good work here first month of the season. It was vintage Kyle Hendricks that night. He had great stuff, very good command of his fastball, changeup combination of what we've come to expect from Hendricks. And then on Friday, probably the best news of the weekend, the performance of Yu Darvish. It's been an awfully bumpy ride for him in the early going, but he was spot on. This was his second start this year against the Brewers. 2 really good starts coming in Milwaukee and then the one here. So it looks like Darvish perhaps has turned a corner.
Brewers have struggled defensively the last couple of days. It was a 2-2 ball game late on Friday, but that error by Eric Sogard plated the winning run, and then Jose Quintana just continues to dominate Milwaukee bats.
Yeah, Quintana came into the start with an ERA of 7 and change, but he's really thrown the ball a lot better than that. He was pretty solid last time out in Colorado, and rock solid in his start yesterday. The wind, the sky, obviously a big story, a lot of misplays. This is just a little nudge into shallow left by Tommy La Stella to score Zobrist, and then Hayward basically steals home on Arcia, the shortstop, who got a little lackadaisical out there.
So 3-0 the final in that one yesterday, and you see what the Cubs have done in this series. They've only scored 7 runs, but they made them all count.
Yeah, low-run games. It feels like 1968 in this cold weather here with the wind blowing in. 3 runs enough to hold up. Maybe that will be the case again here today.
The Cubs split the 2-game series in Cleveland. Tyler Chatwood and John Lester both pitched well, and Chatwood got his first win as a Cub.
Yeah, it's hard to wrap your hands around Tyler Chatwood because he's been really inconsistent with his command. He's walked too many, but in most of his starts, he's been able to pitch around those walks. He hasn't given up a lot of damage. He hasn't given up a lot of base hits. He walked 5 in his start against Cleveland, but it was a quality start. He picked up his first win in a Cub uniform.
Zach Davies also got a win at Kansas City. 6 solid innings. Cubs very familiar with him. The Brewers really like his curveball, but we know we'll see a lot of changeups today.
Yeah, sinker, cutter, curve change. He's kind of like Kyle Hendricks. He doesn't throw real hard, moves the ball around. He's made 11 career starts against the Cubs already. He's been mostly good in those games against the Cubs. Just a smart guy who really knows how to pitch despite not having a velocity.
All right, we're a month into the season, but if the Cubs can win today, they could possibly finish the afternoon in first place in the NL Central. The defense has been great. We'll take a look at what's going on around Major League Baseball when we come back, getting you set for Cubs baseball next.
encourages you to experience amazing. Blue Cross and Blue Shield of Illinois, through it all. Ford, who invites you to go further in their fuel-efficient vehicles. Check out our entire lineup at your local Ford store or buyfordnow.com. And by Menards. Save big money at Menards.
Welcome back to Wrigley Field. Brewers and the Cubs will wrap up the series. Cubs will host the Rockies starting tomorrow night. Rockies trailing early at Miami 1-0. Built for Baseball is presented by T-Mobile. As we take a look around baseball from Saturday, Denard Span with an inside the park home run. The Tampa Bay Rays, JD, got off to a really slow start, but they've now won 8 in a row. That was a 12-6 win over the Red Sox. They're within a game of 500. And how about this catch? Odubel Herrera robbing Freddie Freeman.
Yeah, young man, get out of my bushes. That is great concentration, huh? How about that, boy? But notwithstanding that, Freddie Freeman, man, he's been on fire.
Yeah, Atlanta won that game 4-1. Tim Anderson with a home run, and apparently for Salvador Perez, he celebrated a little too vociferously as the White Sox and the Royals split a doubleheader. So a little conversation at the plate, and then this would continue a little later on, and teammates from both teams got involved.
Yeah, the whole issue again, code of contact, where Perez is saying you need to respect the game, you respect my team, don't show up my guy after you hit a home run. So Anderson, actually, Justin Verlander took offense with Tim not too long ago. So this is the second time he's been caught up in a little bit of this. Ultimately, I think Ned Yost referred to this as a tea party. They had a little tea party and then shaking of hands, although it looked kind of dead fish there. And apparently Jerry Lane, the umpire, suggested that they shake hands. And they'll probably, I don't know, they'll probably have to stay after school for a couple hours and clean the chalkboard or something.
Diamondbacks, first National League team to win their first 9 series to start a year since the 1907 Cubs. Shohei Ohtani, as the Yankees are in Anaheim this weekend, has a sprained ankle. And we mentioned the Rays with their 8th consecutive win. Bartolo Colon also got his first win as a Texas Ranger. He has now won with 11 different teams, 4th pitcher to do that. LaTroy Hawkins, Mike Morgan, and Ron Vallone also on that list.
Is Bartolo aged or ageless?
I think ageless at this point.
Okay.
So we'll send it down to the field as we get set for our national anthem.
Ladies and gentlemen, at this time, please remain standing and join Heather Horton as she honors our nation with God Bless America, followed by our national anthem.
God bless America, land that I love. Stand beside her and guide her through the night with a light from above. From the mountains to the prairies to the oceans white with foam. God bless America, my home sweet home. God bless America, my home sweet home. Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
Miller Lite game report. The Cubs looking for their 7th win out of 8 games against the Brewers. Certainly saying something, even though it is early in the season against a team in your division. And it hasn't been easy for the Cubs to produce these runs here at Wrigley. Not hitting conditions at all. Cold, wind blowing in, even sideways for most of the games here at the Friendly Confines. And yet, Madden's club still among the league leaders in offense, runs scored per game. And the manager says a lot of that has to do with this group just finding an old school approach.
Well, again, I think it just speaks to the whole field approach. I stand by that. We're playing an entire game of baseball right now. I don't think I've seen anybody go up there with just this heavy pull mode, trying to hit home runs kind of philosophy that we've had over the last several years. I still believe we can do that. We're going to do that. We're going to hit a lot of home runs this year. I like the swarming offense. I like guys hit the ball at the ballpark. I don't understand why you can't have both, and I don't understand why choking up is a lost art. I think moving the baseball by getting your top hand closer to contact helps provide for these positive situations too.
Well, a little bit better weather conditions this afternoon. We've got sunshine, a little less wind. We'll see if some of these Cubs guys can knock it out of the park today and keep that offense rolling against the Brewers. We've got the finale coming your way of this 4-game set. It's the Cubs, it's the Brewers, right here on NBC Sports Chicago.
Ready to come in through that western gate, and it's a Sunday, so a lot of young Cub fans out in the field getting autographs from their heroes. Great to see Porter Ward and his whole family here as part of Clark's crew. They're all decked out and ready to root on the Cubs. And Tyler Chatwood, he tries to get his second consecutive win. The Cubs have shut out the Brewers 4 times here in April. First time they've blanked one opponent 4 times in a calendar month since May of 1969 against the then expansion San Diego Padres. Here's how the Brewers will line up. Kane, who's actually had a good series, not many other guys have offensively. Yelich without a hit in the first 3 games. Ryan Braun's been eerily quiet against the Cubs this season. He's in left field today. Shaw, Aguilar, and VR are in the middle. Arcia, Bandy, and Davies at the bottom.
Cubs in the field today. Kyle Schwarber will play left. Albert Almora Jr. made an outstanding play out there in the high winds and the high sky yesterday. Jason Hayward plays right. Chris Bryant third. Addison Russell did not start the ball game yesterday. Came in late. He's back in there today. That moves Baez back over to his customary position at second. Anthony Rizzo's your first baseman. Wilson Contreras will be calling the signals today. And on the mound, our Lexus Experience Amazing starting pitcher is Tyler Chatwood. The right-hander has made 4 starts, picked up his first W last time out, so 1-3 with a 374. And you see a lot of walks, 21 2/3 innings, 18 hits, but 19 walks allowed by Tyler. For the most part, they haven't really hurt him other than running up the pitch count. He struck out 23, and he's allowed just the 1 home run so far.
Crew Chief Gary Cedarstrom back at the plate. They played shorthanded yesterday because Corey Blazer was under the weather. So Jeremy Rehack will work first base in Blazer's spot. Stu, Sherwater and Eric Cooper at second and third respectively. And here we go. Chatwood to Kane. Outside for ball one. Two and 0 on Kane. 46 degrees. The key, though, is the wind is only at 4 miles an hour off the lake. Not quite as crisp as it was yesterday.
We should not have the adventures on balls in the air that we saw yesterday. And Kane all of a sudden in a favorable count. Here's Chatwood's having a hard time finding the zone. Kane taking over as the leadoff man for the Brewers has done a very nice job of walking twice as much as his career rate.
And Chatwood will have to recalibrate here. 4-pitch walk to start it. Go back to his first start this year. In the first inning in Cincinnati, he walked the first two guys in front of Joey Votto, retired Votto, and then a few innings later with one out he walked the two guys ahead of Votto and got Votto again. So it's not how you would necessarily draw it up, but by and large he's been able to walk guys and work around it.
Yeah, he's walked at least 5 in 3 of his 4 starts. And ironically, the game that he only issued the 1 walk probably had the best command. He was the most hittable. He allowed 9 hits and 5 runs in 5 innings of work. That was against the Pirates back on April 10th.
Kane with a big lead already. Not running. And a strike on the outside corner to Yelich. Yelich 0 for 11 in the series.
Tyler with a good lively heater. Sink it. He'll throw a 4-seamer. Averages around 93 miles per hour. He's got a kind of a hybrid slider / cutter. Also a curve and a change.
Fly ball well hit to left. Schwarber's back on it and he makes the play. And that'll send Kane back to first. Yelich 0 for 11, but he's hit the ball well on occasion, including a sacrifice fly the other day deep to right. And here comes Ryan Braun.
How can you tell? Other than looking at your scorecard.
Braun came into this series on a hot streak. Has been fairly quiet. 4 for 25 this year against Cubs pitching. But in a season's worth of games against the Cubs, 160 in his career, 325 with 33 homers.
Kane certainly a threat to steal a base, and with the Brewers having such a hard time generating offense, Craig Counsell might be inclined to play the running game a little bit here. Chatwood's pretty quick to home plate.
Brewers have lost 3 in a row after winning 8 straight. Hitting 162 this year in 7 games against the Cubs.
Ryan Braun can take comfort in the old Reggie Jackson line. When Jackson used to be booed, and he said, well, they don't boo nobodies.
That is incredibly true. Double play depth in the middle. Here's the pitch. High again.
Well, maybe time to try a breaking ball. Change up the field, the mechanics a little bit. Throughout his career, Tyler's always worked with a high walk rate, but nothing like what he has displayed so far this year. Walking almost 20% of the batters he faced. League average is around 9%.
Which is actually up a little bit from last year. 2-1.
Yeah, walks are up, strikeouts are up. Hit batters up.
Another throw to first.
So that's the dilemma for Craig Counsell. His team is having a hard time scoring runs, so two ways to look at it. We need to run to generate offense, or we got to be very cautious because we don't want to waste the base runners we do have.
Well, the benefits, if there are any, of Chatwood's walks and occasional wildness, guys can't get comfortable at the plate, number one. Number two, you've talked about his ability to get the double play ball. Runner goes, the pitch is low, and the throw in time, but a little bobble by Baez. If he had held on, that would have been a close play.
He is so quick with that tag and trying to catch and apply the tag all in one motion. It was a heck of a throw by Contreras, right on the bag and down low where you like it.
Stolen base number 7 for Kane. 3-2 on Braun with Shaw waiting on deck. When you look at those 5 pitches, just he's worked about every quadrant there is vertically. And that pitch was up and in on Braun.
Yeah, and that's with Tyler. I think what we've seen for the most part, I don't know that he's working it as much as it just ends up there. I mean, I think he's the kind of guy that has really good stuff, and he just turns it loose and relies on movement to a degree. Obviously, there are times when he's really trying to make a pitch to a spot.
Another 3-2. Bounced fair as Bryant from a knee will throw to first late. Braun beats it out. Nice job by Bryant just to keep that ball from the corner. If it gets past him, Kane will come around and score. As it is, he had to hold it second.
Yeah, I'm a little surprised because with Bryant having to dive into foul territory to get this ball, he could have come off the base a good bit, and then once the throw was made, streak on into third base. Watch. He kind of holds his ground and actually starts to retreat. I mean, there was room for Kane to be a lot more aggressive coming off the bag there.
So a walk, a steal, an infield hit. And it's Shaw with 2 men on. And the Brewers have not had a lot of chances in this series.
Well, here you get back to the double play with Chatwood out there, above average ground ball rate, his ability to so far this year pitch around some of these crisis situations.
Shaw, another guy who's done very little against the Cubs this season. 2 for 21, including 0 for 8 in the series. Chatwood working on normal rest for the first time. 2-1.
Yeah, and I think that's a big part of why the Cubs rotation has been so good here of late. All of a sudden they're in a much more normal routine, working every 5, maybe 6 days as opposed to every 8 days.
And 7, 6, and 6 days of rest before his last 3 starts. And this is the normal 4 days off. He's made between 92 and 100 pitches through his first 4 starts. Ground ball. Rizzo's got it. Russell at second. Chatwood at first. Double play.
How do you do?
Well, we wrote the script, and the Cubs came through 3-6-1, and the Cubs will bat when we return. Almora and Baez both with career best 11-game hitting streaks. They're like 309, 304, 306. Going to struggle for Anthony Rizzo, but the Cubs are winning, and he'll get it going at some point. Contreras, Schwarber, Russell back in there at short today. Hayward in right, and Chatwood the pitcher.
Brewers defensively, Braun played first base yesterday. He plays left field today. Kane, you'll find him in center pretty much every day. Yelich moves from left to right. Shaw, Arcia, Villar, and Aguilar on the infield. Jet Bandy is behind the plate in the Lexus Experience Amazing. Starting pitcher is the 25-year-old right-hander Zach Davies, 2-2. Through 5 starts with a .445. He's a finesse guy. He's about $160. 6 foot even. 28 1/3 innings. He's allowed 26 hits, walked 10, struck out 22. 4-pitch mix, fastball, cutter, curve, and change.
Typically works quickly.
Yeah, it's kind of like Kyle Hendricks. Similar approach. Mostly down in the zone.
The 0-2 way outside and low on Albert Almora. He's 25. Although he said he was 16, you'd believe it. It's a very youthful look. Their starters have been terrific here lately. Swing and a miss, strike 3. 2.41 collective ERA for their rotation over their last 14 games. And we're going to get left-hander Wade Miley in their rotation coming up this week. By the way, the leadoff man is presented by Binny's Beverage Depot. Now Morris struck out, but next time he gets a hit in that leadoff spot, starting a game, Binny's will donate $100 to the Greater Chicago Food Depository. Almora has come through quite a bit for Binny's in the Chicago Food Depository here lately. One 1-0 on Baez. That's on the outside corner.
It's interesting, you know, we talk about Davies, and, you know, we talk about the comparison to Hendricks, and Davies has always been known as a strike thrower and has very good command, but strike 1 has eluded him so far this year. His first strike percentage, 47. It's lowest in the National League, second lowest in Major League Baseball among all starting pitchers. And perhaps by design, you know, guys that don't throw real hard, maybe he, you know, felt like he was getting a little too predictable, too aggressive early. Pitching coaches talk so much about throwing strikes on 2 of your first 3 pitches. So, you know, if you don't find the zone strike 1, can you throw breaking ball over 1-0? Can you paint a corner 1-0 to get back into a count without throwing a cookie? And you know, his skill set says, yes, he's capable of doing that.
Threw a 2-strike pitch right down the middle on a fastball, and Baez just able to foul it off.
Yeah, we've seen more of this lately as Javi's become a little better at laying off that 2-strike breaking ball, and because he's starting to look for it, I think, and clubs have started to cross him up, throwing that fastball on 2 strikes more often.
Cloudless day. Again, the wind not nearly the factor it was yesterday. He has run it full on Baez. So Wade Miley will pitch Wednesday in Cincinnati. Brent Suter will go to the Brewer bullpen. They made that announcement before the game today. Swing and a miss. He got him.
So that's a little cross up too. Again, that most right-handers, Baez 3-2 last couple of years, you'd see breaking ball. This is sinker on the plate below the knees. So the real good sinkers to get Almora and now Baez.
So it was 90, and that's his fastball. And the way Baez swung at it, that's typically what it'll look like when a guy misses a changeup. Second game back for Chris Bryant. 0 for 3 with a walk yesterday after missing 4 games. And a foul strike, and man, you'd want him in the lineup today, as you would all days, but .433 in his career with 2 homers against Davies.
Thought for a minute there they had an extra infielder with the umpire positioning. It's like equidistant between the third baseman, the shortstop, the second baseman, and the umpire.
One pitch, and 2-1.
Chris probably had to do a double take to make sure he wasn't wearing a glove.
Davies, kind of a strange statistical thing. He's been a lot better on the road in the big leagues with Milwaukee than at home. Career .304 on the road, .468 pitching in his home ballpark.
(17-9) last year. With a .390, he was 11-7, excuse me, the year before. Originally drafted by the Orioles. The Orioles got him in a trade for Gerardo Parra back in 2015.
And he has led their club in wins each of the last 2 seasons. Ground ball into that shift. It's scooped by VR, and Davies goes 1-2-3 in the first. Nothing after 1 inning of play. Tyler Chatwood's ability to get that ground ball double play.
Yeah, sharply hit, and that really helps. It allows Anthony to get that throw quickly to Russell. He was able to make the turn undisturbed there, and Chatwood hustles over, gets to first base. Can't do it any better than that. That's not an easy double play to execute, but they made it look easy.
Jesus Aguilar takes ball 1 inside. Batting 5th, playing first base, hitting .433 in his 8 starts. Got a 3-hit game against the Cubs in Milwaukee on April 5th. He takes ball 2. Sinker right down the middle. It's 2-1. Chatwood's got a lot going on in his delivery. Most of his pitches have a fair amount of movement.
Yeah, that's, to me, he's not a command guy. He's, he's got good life on the fastball, good movement. He's certainly been unpredictable. It's hard to zero in on him if you're a hitter.
Swing and a miss. Good comeback.
And that's a great example of it there. 94 elevated, but that wasn't the plan. Contreras is sitting off the outside edge. He's looking down and away, and ball ends up and in. But 94 with good movement, action inside, little run, beats Aguilar.
He's got his first strikeout. And it's Jonathan Villar, the switch hitting second baseman. Swing and a miss. Villar, intriguing and frustrating, right? The big year he had 2 years ago, 156 games. He led the majors in steals. He hit 19 home runs. Batted .285, but it looks like, when what we've seen, JD, there are times when he maybe tries to play the power game. You see sometimes middle infielders who have a year where they hit some home runs, they get a little pull happy.
Yeah, get a little enamored with that. So he's got a lot of tools.
He does.
When he first came to the big leagues, there were issues with concentration, mental mistakes in the field and on the base paths.
3-1. He's never been a guy who's walked a ton, but 2016 he took 79 walks. Also struck out 174 times. He draws the free pass here. Certainly the Cubs will be on high alert for him running.
Yeah, it's funny, the two guys you really don't want to walk are Kane and Villar, the base stealers. And Kane did walk and stole the base, and now Villar takes a freebie.
Orlando Arcia.
And that's, the other thing Council will have to consider. Do I take chances on the bases, or do I wait him out and see if we can work another walk, or maybe he bounces a breaking ball and we get to second base that way?
Well, considering the theme of the day and what happened in the first, I'm guessing the thing that would tip it over the top for Council is just, staying out of that double play chance. Runners on against Chatwood is one thing. You just don't want a runner at first if you can help it.
Right, and so here's a situation where, you put a play on, run and hit. Don't necessarily have Arcia take a pitch here, but Villar gets a jump, let him go. He's not taking a very big lead.
Cubs, Cardinals, Brewers, they all have different records, but all basically a half a game out of first behind Pittsburgh. Swing and a miss.
Bad looking hack there. He really pulled off that pitch. Cutter at 88. Like he was looking for one of those runners moving in on him. Look at the front hip open up.
One and two.
Better command of the cutter than the straight fastball.
Cardinals in Pittsburgh again today. Pirates looking for their 5th straight win. They've cooled off the Redbirds this weekend. Nick Kingham, a right-hander, making his big league debut today for Pittsburgh. Scoreless tie in the 5th inning. Kingham has not allowed a hit through 4 as he battles Luke Weaver.
You don't want to throw a no-hitter in the first major league start.
Setting the bar too high.
Yeah, nowhere to go but down.
Swing and a miss. He got him. And pitch way out of the zone.
The bad AB there. Hey, folks, the Cubs have 25 players and millions of teammates, and they need everyone at the top of their game screaming, "Go, Cubs, go," because when everybody's in, from the grandstands to the bleachers, everybody on the field takes notice. The Rockies are in town tomorrow night for a 3-game set. Tickets are still available for each game at Cubs.com.
Rockies will fly in from Miami tonight. We got Freeland, Gray, and Anderson listed in this upcoming series. Freeland and Anderson, the left-handers, both coming off injuries, but apparently ready to go. Kyle Freeland suffered a heel injury in his last start. Anderson left his start Friday due to a heartbeat issue. Popped up back of the plate. Contreras had just enough room, and he gets Bandy, and that's it for the Brewers. As VR's left stranded at first after an inning and a half, still 0-0. Authentic fan night of the season tomorrow here at Wrigley. Watch the Cubs take on the Rockies. 6:05 first pitch. Visit the Authentic fan booth inside the Gallagher Way gate and grab a free hat while supplies last. We look forward to that tomorrow night. And we'll have the game for you right here on NBC Sports Chicago. Anthony Rizzo will lead off the Cubs' second inning. One home run that came in the first series of the year in Miami. Actually, it came on opening day in the second inning. And pummels one foul. It typically would end up in the seats and could be very dangerous, but it hit the new net above the first base dugout.
Remember Jerry Cheevers?
The goalie for the Bruins?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And how he used to put stitches on his mask?
Yes.
Where the pucks hit him, that if his mask wasn't there, he would have been stitched up. You could do something similar with these nets in baseball now.
I thought you were talking about Rizzo, who gets hit by pitches to put them all over his
Yeah,
uniform.
that too.
Sharply hit grounder in the shallow right. The play is made by the shortstop, Arcia. I'm putting 4-3 in my book. even though it was 60.
Yeah, it's better when you look at your book, you want to know where the ball was hit, more importantly than who made the play. Sometimes I'll put like 6, parentheses 4, 3, and shortstop field at Qua, the second baseman.
Contreras with that nice grab in foul territory. It's ball 1.
Imagine the conversation in the Cubs dugout after just a handful of batters here is, hey, make him get the ball up. See it down, let it go. Nothing but swings and misses and ground balls if you keep attacking that one.
Yeah, so we heard Joe on the pregame talking about moving the baseball, and there are no black and white rules in this game. And what he was not saying in that soundbite was swing at everything and just make sure you get a piece of it. Accept your walks. When you have your pitch to hit, do something with it.
And that was, so far, good AB, right? I mean, finally got a pitch up, took a good healthy whack at it, didn't deliver, but his decision making has been good. Yeah, and I think with Joe I think feels like the game has gotten too pull happy, too launch happy. He wants, he knows his club is still going to hit a bunch of home runs. He's on board with home runs, but he just wants to see a good approach, depending on count and game situation.
Here's a 3-2, and Contreras swats that one into right. Nicely done. He's going to stay at first with a single. Good job by Yelich to get it back in quickly. First hit for the Cubs today.
Yep, that's a good job there. Let the ball get deep. 3-2. With Davies, it was 50% fastball and then a pretty good mix of cutter, curveball, and changeup beyond that. So it's hard to sit fastball regardless of the count. A lot of guys on 3-2, they'll talk themselves into, I'm going to get a pitch middle in here, I can turn on. Contreras' approach was, I'm going to stay back, let this ball travel a little bit. That way I'm less likely to be fooled by off speed, and I can still maybe do something with a fastball, and he did.
Schwarber had the game-winning homer on Thursday night, and the Cubs 1-0 series opening victory.
Pitch off the plate, but up, and I think that's what a lot of these guys are thinking now. I'm going to look for something, maybe not necessarily look for a certain pitch, but I'm going to look in the zone. I'm going to see if I can get something up, and I'm going to be ready to attack that ball.
Last 8 appearances for Kyle, 4 home runs. He's knocked in 10. He had the 2-homer game earlier this week in Cleveland.
With, Anthony struggling and KB out for 4 games after being hit in the head. Schwarber, Baez, Almora carrying a big part of the load. A load that has been minimized because the starting pitching has been so good. They haven't had to do a whole lot offensively, certainly in this series.
Well, if you told Craig Counsell before the series started, hey, the first 3 games your team will give up 7 runs total, he'd have signed up, right?
Yeah, I don't even want to think about what's behind the curtain. I'll take that deal.
And you will be 0-3.
This ball's a wacky game. This club has only scored 2 runs so far in this series.
Shaw now will shift from the left to the right. So right to left, it's first, third, second, short. And a 1-2 count on Schwarber.
Should be 2-1. And Kyle will tell you, well, if the last one was called a strike, I got to be willing to swing at that one. Davies certainly one of those guys who, if the umpire starts to give him some leeway on either side of the plate, he can exploit it.
And if it were 2-1, he probably would not have swung at that last pitch, and it would be 3-1.
Yeah, you get a little bit more protect mode, a little more anxiety with a couple of strikes. Don't want to leave it in the umpire's hands. So says some other guys and other hitting coaches and other philosophy of hitting says, you know what? Don't swing at that pitcher's pitch down and away. Even if it's strike 3, there's nothing you're going to do with it anyway.
Play him around the left in the outfield. Braun really deep. So they give him a little space out in the power alley and right. Yelich way off the line.
That's a good take. That's a good take after all those fastballs away. So you're looking out there, all of a sudden you see a pitch coming in over the plate and out of his hand. It looks pretty juicy, but it's a straight change with a good fade. And boy, that's great discipline by Schwarber.
Joel have Contreras on the move here. 3-2 to Schwarber. 1 out, bottom 2. It's Addison Russell.
Probably get a little more with his lead. Davies has been awfully tough to run on in his career.
Contreras does not take off, and the ball lifted into left center. It's Braun.
Shortstop, number 27.
Here is Russell.
That ball yesterday would have created all kinds of mayhem out there, the way that wind was blowing. But that was a can of corn for Braun.
Just seen spurts from Russell, but has not had a prolonged hot streak as of yet. He did score the game-winning run Friday after a leadoff single in the 7th. And that one feathered into right. Contreras will easily make it to third. That'll give Hayward a chance with runners at first and third.
Breaking ball right off the end of the bat. It's been a tough go for Addy. He'll take anything. Eases on to third base.
Jason with a big 7th inning double and brilliant base running maneuver as the Cubs added 2 key insurance runs on Saturday in the 3-0 win. Takes a ball outside.
Yeah, that was big because Edwards and Morrow had thrown 2 days in a row, and Joe finished the game with Strop, Cishek, and Dunsing.
Two 2-0. The pitcher Chatwood is on deck.
He appears not to be in the mood to give in here.
Here's his 2-0. Now 3-0.
Bandy keeps looking into the dugout to see if Craig Counsell wants to just go ahead and put him on. I think Davey's one of those guys you would trust to execute the game plan. If the message is to pitch around, he's capable of executing. That's a perfect example there. That 3-0 fastball actually off the corner, but if you're trying to pitch around somebody, that's the kind of pitch you want to make. You don't all of a sudden change your mindset if you're 2-0, even if you get 0-2. If you're pitching around, you're still working on the edge or just off.
Letting his infield know. And will do if Russell takes off for second. Contreras has lots of leeway at third with Shaw way off the bat. And the bases are loaded. Chatwood is not an automatic out. 212 lifetime. 0 for 4 so far this year.
Yeah, and I think the cautious approach to Hayward there, it's all about the fact that the Brewers just haven't been scoring runs, and it's shaping up to be another pitcher's day here, cold day with the wind blowing in. Not nowhere near as hard as yesterday. Normally you're going to be a little more aggressive in the second inning against an 8th place hitter, especially when you got a pitcher on deck who can handle the bat a little bit.
Strike one. LeBron continues to play a real deep left field even against the pitcher, as Kane and Yelich have moved in several steps.
Now you're normally going to stay a little deeper on the pull side, but he's way out there. More likely to dump one in front of you than to hit it over your head, and with 2 outs, if he dumps one in front of him, it's going to score 2 runs.
Chatwood trying to help his own cause here. Bases loaded, ground ball, and it is Arcia. So we head to the third. Cubs hosting Milwaukee, trying to sweep them. 0-0.
Bryant laying out for a nice defensive play in the first inning, and following his first game back, he said, yeah, I feel great. Felt like a very normal day for me. The only thing he noticed, guys, is feeling like he was a little behind timing-wise. I felt so sharp those first 20 games or so, and I know we sometimes mention what a pain it is to play 162 games, but that really does help you get into a groove when it comes to seeing pitches, velocity, and it'll just take me some time to get back, Bryant said, but maybe only a day or two. He expected to go 4 for 4, guys. He told me this afternoon, and Lynn, as you mentioned, he has had quite a bit of success against Davies. Maybe not 4 for 4, but 3 for 4 would work, right?
Yeah, absolutely. And it's just a matter of time before he gets back into his groove. He was off to a really good start before he got hurt. Thank you, Kelly. Hey, Cubs Destinations travel packages include tickets, hotel accommodations, ballpark tours, Cubs swag, and a private meet and greet with a current player. This season's trips to Chicago include matchups with the Cardinals, Nationals, and Reds. For more info, it's Cubs.com/destinations. Davies takes high, ball 1, third inning. I'm told it's the third annual Lennon J.D. National Nickname Day.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah. We had this conversation on April 29th, 2 years ago.
Probably because it's Noodles Hahn's birthday.
Okay.
And that probably started us on a whole conversation about baseball nicknames.
It did. Well, our viewers are pretty savvy, and they remember these things even when we don't. And we normally don't.
Thanks for the reminder, and happy birth anniversary to the great Noodles Hahn, a left-hander from way back in the day. Supposedly earned the nickname because he would, as a kid, his dad worked in, I believe it was a piano manufacturing facility, and he would bring his dad chicken soup from home.
Called strike 3. As you enjoy a cold Miller Lite, look forward to the whole true moment later on in today's game. Kane led off the ball game with a 4-pitch walk, then stole second base. 3 for 9 with 4 walks in the series. But they've only been able to get him to cross the plate once.
This is Tyler's 4th career start against the Brewers.
Almora's got it.
Chatwood started his career with the Angels. Wasn't there very long before he was traded over to the Colorado Rockies. Also better part of 2 years with Tommy John surgery. Bounced back. It's really well in 2016. Had a 1-something earned run average on the road in 2016. That's what got everybody's attention.
Nick Kingham perfect through 6 in his major league debut. Pirates batting the bottom of the 6th in a scoreless tie. Yelich has his first hit of the series. 2-out single here in the 3rd. Cubs host the Rockies tomorrow night. Milwaukee will move on to Cincinnati. Ground ball to third. Easy play for Bryant. That's that. They've stranded one in each of the first 3 innings. Still looking for our first run today. Xfinity X1 customers say, show me the Chicago Cubs into your Xfinity or your X1 voice remote and get live team stats on your TV. Change the way you experience TV with Xfinity X1. Sinker strike to Almora. Cubs looking to break this scoreless tie. Way outside.
Leadoff double would work.
Swing and a miss. I mentioned Davies came over from the Orioles. Not a high draft pick, 26th round, 2011. He was going to go to Arizona State, but the Orioles offered him $575,000 to sign, which is a real good number considering where he went in the draft.
Yeah, somewhere between the draft and when they signed him, they obviously upgraded his ceiling.
This is Arcia. And one away.
Next in the plate, second baseman, Javier Baez.
There's Baez, who struck out in the first.
I don't know all the particulars on Davies, but years ago, and I don't think this would have applied when he was draft eligible. They used to have draft and follow, where a kid would be drafted 1 year, and you would have until the next year's draft to quote unquote follow him. So you would have exclusive rights to sign him.
These were like junior college kids, right?
Yeah, yeah, and so kid might be a 25th round pick, and heading into the next year's draft, he would be projected maybe as a 3rd or 4th round pick. So the club would then go ahead and sign him prior to the next draft for money way beyond what you normally would expect for a 22nd or 3rd round draft pick, say.
We no longer have that as part of the draft. You can draft them, you just can't follow them.
Yeah, well, the signing deadline is in August now, right?
Baez hustling. Shaw will throw him out. So Bryant, after a quiet start to this third, will bat with nobody on.
Third baseman, Chris Bryant.
I'll give a plug to Andy Bellison, the now veteran voice of Wrigley Field. Andy's been doing this now for, man, I want to say 6 or 7 years. Foul strike to Bryant.
We should have him sing the stretch someday.
That'd be great. The 0-1. This is the outside corner.
Talked about Davies' home road splits in his career. He's been good in this ballpark. Coming into today, he had made 5 starts here, 4-1. An ERA a little above 4. One bad one, and the rest really good. Pitched here twice last season. 6 innings, 2 runs, 7 innings, 1 run in those 2 starts.
He's behind Bryant, 3-1. Mariners trying to win a series in Cleveland, leading 6-2 in the bottom of the 7th. Seattle has taken 2 of the first 3. Strike 2.
Pitches off the plate. Cedarstrom showing the willingness to call pitches both sides of the plate off the edges.
Backpedaling is Aguilar, and 2 hands on it. Cubs go 1, 2, 3. So we go to the 4th. Cubs nothing, Brewers nothing.
Field has to offer for your next client, corporate, or family function, like the all-inclusive Fannie Mae suite located in center field. Visit Cubs.com/premier for an option that fits your needs.
Travis Shaw bounced into an inning-ending 3-6-1 in the first. I want to send out happy birthday wishes to Matt and Mike Imes. IMS. Born 32 years ago today. It's a good one, guys. Five consecutive quality starts for the rotation. A collective 1.09 ERA. Almora has to get on his horse as he runs it down. That ball took off, but Shaw is out.
Continues to play a tremendous center field. Line drive over the head of the center fielder. Usually takes a beat to react. You see a couple steps in before recognizing, no, that's not going to play. I need to retreat, and hauls it in.
Aguilar. And we'll see some more playing time with Eric Thames on the DL. He's got a thumb injury. Lined and caught by Bryant. L8, L5 to start the Milwaukee fourth. Now VR.
The 8 was hit better than the 5. That last one, a line drive, but off the end of the bat a little bit. Robbie Ray, fine left-hander of the Diamondbacks, had to come out of his start today. It's like a strained oblique, and that usually leads to the disabled list. Diamondbacks playing great baseball, but they've already lost Taijuan Walker for the season. And now Ray looks like he could be out for a bit. It's a 3-0 Nationals lead over the Diamondbacks. They're in the 6th.
1-1. When do we see the Nationals? I feel like it's not for a while. I'm probably totally wrong.
August and September.
There you go.
Yeah.
And we don't see the Diamondbacks until late July. Late swing that time, and the ball bounced into the Cubs dugout. Long stretch of games, mostly played here. Through May 14th, the only road games coming up next Friday through Sunday in St. Louis.
Yeah, a chance to really do some damage with this home heavy portion of the schedule. Stay down.
Hold on the ground to Rizzo, and he'll take it to the bag. Chatwood feeling good today as he's allowed just 2 hits and no runs through his 4 innings. Cubs bat in a scoreless tie.
Tomorrow it's Authentic Fan Night. Get in on the action and watch the Cubs take on the Rockies with the Davids. Kaplan and DeJesus. Tune in to NBC Sports Chicago's Facebook page for the 6th inning sidecast. They'll take your questions as they comment on the game action.
Underway here in the Cubs' 4th. And a called strike on Anthony Rizzo. 2 starting pitchers have been really good. Foul tip, and it's 0-2. Davies allowed singles in the second. Contreras and Russell when the Cubs left the bases loaded. 1, 2, 3 in the first and the third. Rizzo with a ground ball again into the shift. And again retired by the shortstop. He was playing shallow right.
This game will really test you mentally, and right now Riz is going through it. Stretch there where he's getting beat by some fastballs, just popping the ball up a fair bit, and just looked a little out of sync of late. Better contact, just not getting the results.
Contreras with an opposite field single, his first time in the second. Waiting on a 1-0 inside on a sinker. Davies making his 6th start. Beat the Royals 5-2 on Tuesday night.
Start before that, 6 1/3 scoreless against Cincinnati, so he's on a pretty good roll here. Good rotation, not a lot of big names, you know, guys maybe a little beneath the radar.
Yep. BR ranging to his left. Makes the play. Yeah, I would say Davies and Chase Anderson in particular, guys you don't hear much about. Considered underrated.
Yeah. Jimmy Nelson had a breakout year last year. He's currently hurt. But, both Davies and Anderson qualify as real solid mid-rotation guys, at least.
Schwarber's 0 for 1 and takes a strike. 4-game sweeps are rare. The Cubs have done it to the Brewers 4 different times. And once here at Wrigley Field, that was back in August of 2016. Milwaukee is 1-6 against the Cubs, 15-6 against everybody else. On the flip side, the White Sox are 5-1 against Kansas City and 3-16 versus the rest of their schedule. Hard to figure sometimes. Backhanded play. Aguilar, good flip to Davies. So he's feeling it just like Chatwood. To the 5th. What I said earlier.
Anyhow, join the Cubs on Monday, May 7th. First pitch 7:05. Support Firefighter Appreciation Night. All participants who purchase tickets through the Cubs Community Nights page receive a Cubs-themed travel tumbler. For more information, visit Cubs.com/communitynights.
Orlando Arcia rounds out to Chris Bryant as we start the 5th inning. Pirates lead the Cardinals 4-0 in the 7th. Paul DeYoung has just broken up the perfect game with a base hit. Nick Kingham making his major league debut.
Pirates have won 4 in a row. That was coming on the heels of being swept in a 4-game set by the Phillies.
I want to welcome all our viewers watching NBC Sports Chicago on Dunkerton Telephone in Dunkerton, Iowa. Bandy pops it up. Bryant in foul ground puts it away.
These pitchers are in the proverbial rocking chair now, man. I mean, just easy peasy.
You can get the pitcher here in quick order. Chatwood would be set up nicely with a low pitch count. Bottom of the order for the Cubs in the bottom of this inning to face Davies. Cubs tied for first in the majors with the 4 shutouts, all coming against the Brewers, and that will be it for the visitors in the 5th. Halfway home on a nice Sunday afternoon. Scoreless. It'll be Russell, Hayward, and Chatwood against Mr. Davies here in the bottom of the 5th inning. Each team with just 2 hits. Hey, planning for a game here in the friendly confines? Check out all the available transportation and parking options. The Cubs offer a free bike check located near the Addison Red Line station. For drivers, the Cubs provide free remote parking and shuttle service on night and weekend games. For more info, visit the A to Z guide at Cubs.com.
Yeah, Russell with one of the 2 hits for the Cubs today. They both came back in the 2nd. Solid single to right by Contreras. with 1 out, and then with 2 outs, a less than solid single by Russell, a little off the end of the bat job, but a single nonetheless. Hayward was walked semi-intentionally, and then Chatwood grounded out to end the inning. There have been 7 ground ball outs induced by Davies here today.
Yeah, my unofficial count has the Cubs hitting the ball into the outfield 3 times, and it was 3 consecutive batters in the second inning. That's been it.
Yeah, 3 outs in the air. Schwarber fly to left, and then Almora popped to short, and Bryant popped to first. And again, Gary Cederstrom's got all the things working against the hitters today with the wind and the cold weather. It's a big zone today, too.
A 1-2 serve. Into the corner. Russell on his way to second base. And he's going to try for 3. It's a triple. Lead-off 3-base hit here in the 5th.
That's a little magic, and boy, that'll play. That's where you find your triples in this ballpark, that well in right field. You're not going to get him in the alleys very often, almost never, but down the line in right, he's really open up. Russell kind of peering over his shoulder, watching Yelich pursue this one, and somewhere right about now, he decides he's going to get to third, and he makes it easily.
So Russell's 2 for 2, and the Brewers have their infield in with nobody out. The pitch to Hayward. As Russell dives back in safely behind the tag of Shaw. Russell with his first triple of the year, his 8th career. The 1-0. Pop foul out of play.
Man on third, less than 2 outs. Major league teams convert this not as much as you would think. It's like a little over 50%. Cubs have struggled in this department this year. Now, obviously, they got a couple of cracks at it here. That stat I quoted was all situations with no outs and also with 1 out. But starting man on third, nobody out. You feel awfully good about your chances to get him home.
This is a real important at bat, though, with the pitcher on deck. Swing and a miss, 1 and 2.
Right. So, and with that in mind, there are certain times as an 8-hole hitter where your mindset has to be, I've got to go ahead and expand my zone to try to drive this run in. It's not the case here because there's nobody out. If you end up taking a walk here, now you get pitcher up first and third, still nobody out.
He's got a lot of room out there in the outfield. The infield in.
Yeah, you don't want to be passive here, but you don't have to be overly aggressive either. And this is what Joe was talking about pregame and what he's been talking about since day 1 of spring training. Nothing wrong with spreading out your legs, choking up a little bit, and just trying to put the ball in play. Hopefully get something up that you can hit in the air.
Hayward has thrived with men on base, but he strikes out here on a changeup. Let's hear Joe Madden again on that approach we've been talking about.
Well, again, I think it just speaks to the whole field approach. I stand by that. We're playing an entire game of baseball right now. I don't think I've seen anybody go up there with just this heavy pull mode, trying to hit home runs kind of philosophy that we've had over the last several years. I still believe we can do that. We're going to do that. We're going to hit a lot of home runs this year. I like the swarming offense. I like guys hit the ball to the ballpark. I don't understand why you can't have both, and I don't understand why choking up is a lost art. I think moving the baseball by getting your top hand closer to contact helps provide for these positive situations too.
Infield still in, 1 strike on Tyler Chatwood. And Again, 2 of the 3 outfielders moving in. Braun still back. Base hit. Chatwood gives the Cubs a 1-0 lead. His first hit as a Cub.
Comes at an opportune time, and boy, did he ever pick up Jason Hayward. And Hayward strikes out. Chatwood says, "No worries, big guy, I got your back," and delivers a solid single to drive home the leadoff triple by Russell. A sloppy breaking ball by Davies. He hasn't made many mistakes today. This breaking ball up in the zone, and that's a good-looking hack.
15th career RBI for Chatwood. So they convert that leadoff triple into the first run of the ball game. Now Warren, strike 1.
The strikeout of Hayward by Davies, his first punch out since he started the game with back-to-back strikeouts of Almora and Baez.
Aguilar playing behind the runner. And Almora tops it foul into the Cubs dugout.
The other thing about Chatwood, he's a good enough athlete. He's not a base clogger. He could score on a double from first base.
Mora's going to try to stay out of the double play, and he will. A little surprised VR didn't make the throw, but Chatwood was right on top of him. The ball was not hit very hard.
Yeah, but it looked like a play that you would at least attempt to turn 2 on. It's time.
It's Baez with Almora taking over at first base. Chatwood will pitch in the 6th with a lead of at least 1-0. Game is over in Miami. The Marlins shut out the Rockies 3-0. Caleb Smith over Chad Bettis. Smith went 7 innings, gave up 2 hits, struck out 9. Well, the Rockies will come to Wrigley Field 15-14. Hit pretty well to right. Yelich will run it down. So Baez lines out. Russell with a leadoff triple. 2 batters later, Tyler Chatwood knocked him in with a solid single into center, and the Cubs lead 1-0. Gallagher Way is jam-packed. And you can follow our Cubs insiders on NBCSportsChicago.com, presented by Nationwide agent Jeff Vukovich. Go to jeffvuk.com or follow him on social media. Nationwide is on your side. 1-0. One and 0 to Lorenzo Cain. Make it 1-1. Second time he's led off an inning. He walked in the first, stole second, did not score.
Tyler has settled into a nice groove here, working quickly.
Cain. Did he get hit on the hand?
I don't know. Gary Cederstrom hasn't given an indication yet.
I think he's telling
he is, yeah.
Craig Counsell foul ball. The knob?
Yeah, that's such a tough call. Sounded like a knob. Most guys have their hand right down there at the bottom of the bat. Obviously, and Cain's not disputing it.
Well, I'm just glad it didn't hit him in the helmet.
Yeah.
It was up and in. I thought a lot more of him than it did, so he's fortunate.
And what can happen, of course, is that the pitch can drive the knob, you can drive the bat into the hand. So they're going to check it. It's going to be tough to make a real determination here.
I'm not sure Cain even thinks. His body language would indicate, and he hasn't left the batter's box, that he's not quite sure that it hit him.
Most guys try to sell this, right? They usually drop the bat and start running down to first base.
This feels like an improbable overturn, doesn't it? In that area, how can you really tell? I mean, it's both. And the call was foul.
Yeah, I don't know how you possibly overturn that. The other thing you've seen guys do is take their batting glove off and show the umpire, look, I got a big welt here, it's swelling up on me. And, Lorenzo didn't do that either.
I think if the call was hit by pitch, that's what it would be no matter what. And because it's foul, well, I hate to say that, because when we do that, typically we end up being totally wrong.
Yeah, it's impossible to know with that look, because we don't know what transpires in that split second.
So the call is upheld.
Happy 9th birthday, young lady.
So the Brewers lose their challenge, and it's 2-2 on Cain.
Yeah, it's tough for a right-handed hitter to feel comfortable diving to cover the outside corner against Tyler, because he gets such good run on his two-seamer. Right-handed batters hitting just 182 against him coming into this ball game.
I believe the count is 2-2. Gary Cederstrom letting us know. Chatwood confirming. So 2 balls and 2 strikes. Foul. A wind in the pitch. Late swing and a dribbler hit to Baez. Cain is out. Are we positive Gary Cederstrom had the count right? It doesn't matter now. He kept saying 2-2. But I thought we saw 3 balls in the at bat. Oh, well.
I don't know.
1-1 to Yelich.
Perhaps someone didn't realize that it was a foul ball initially.
Well, that wasn't the pitch, though. I thought it was 2-1 before the foul, which made it 2-2. And then it was ball 3, and he said, no, it's 2-2. Oh, well. That'll go 3-1. So 2 outs, and it brings up Ryan Braun.
That's 8 outs on the ground for Tyler, counting that double play back in the first. Really a key moment in this game. It was such a tough day to score. Hadn't really settled in. He walked the leadoff man, Kane. Yelich hit the ball sharply to left on him for a line out. Shaw hit the ball pretty well, but it turned into a 3-6-1 double play, and ever since then, Chatwood has been on his way.
In the divisional era going back to 1969, the fewest runs the Cubs have given up in a 4-game series is 3. That was a series at Shea Stadium in April of '73 against the Mets. They've allowed 2 so far in this series. High drive out into right center. It's Almora camping. Chatwood cruising. Last hit he gave up was in the 3rd inning. 1-0 Cubs.
Legendary musician Billy Joel returns to Chicago to perform at Wrigley Field one night only, Friday, September 7th. Tickets on sale now. Don't miss your chance to see Billy Joel at the friendly confines. Cubs.com/concerts.
1 strike on Chris Bryant, make it 0-2. We did go back and look at the video. It was 3-2, not 2-2, when Kane grounded out. The 0-2 to KB. Ground ball. Shaw. Rifles to Aguilar.
It's not so precise last inning. Left some balls up, paid the price for it. Russell hit the triple. Chatwood base hit on an elevated curveball. Baez hit the ball very hard for the final out in the inning.
Brandon Morrow available today. Nothing was wrong with him yesterday, and he could have pitched, but the Cubs just decided they didn't need him to go 3 days in a row. Rizzo just got plunked.
Likes to throw that two-seam fastball that starts at the hip and runs back to the inside corner. He misses badly here.
Baseball people like to say got him right in the wallet.
Yeah, and if it were Rico Cardi, it literally would have hit him in the wallet.
Is that true?
That's what they say. Yeah, Rico used to play with his wallet in his back pocket, didn't trust anybody, didn't want to leave it in the clubhouse.
Well, that's funny. You have his keys in the other pocket or what?
Well, he didn't have his cell phone because they weren't around. And the Gates Brown story, you've heard that one?
Hot dog?
Hot dog in the back pocket, yeah. Gates Brown, the famous pinch hitter for the Tigers, was called upon to pinch hit, and it was right when he was getting ready to mow down a hot dog, so he jams the dog into his back pocket. Hits the ball in the gap, slides into second base, and there's dog particle and mustard flying everywhere.
And Jennings up.
I'm not going to dig in on that one to see if it's true or not because I like the story so much. I hope it's true. Or it might have been down his shirt.
I think it was
his shirt, right?
Yes. I feel like it was the front, not the back.
Yeah. Because that would have been gross to put a hot dog in your back pocket, but down your uniform shirt, that's perfectly okay.
Contreras takes low. Yeah, the story was that it was in his shirt.
Better yet, you do a little pop-up slide, reach into your shirt, pull out the hot dog, take a big bite.
Rizzo takes off, and Contreras bounces it wide of third.
Good contact guy, hits the ball on the ground a lot, and Davies is a ground ball pitcher. He's gotten a bunch of them already today, so makes perfect sense to start a base runner, try to create a little movement on the infield, stay out of the double play, give Schwarber a shot.
Cubs lead on a Tyler Chatwood RBI single in the fifth. Swing and a miss. Davies now ahead 1-2. Rizzo looks like he wants to go, but he's not running, and that ball is fair. Rizzo makes the turn, and he is safe at third. He went in standing and almost got thrown out. So second and third now for Schwarber.
Yeah, this is really close at third base. Evasive action there at the end to avoid the tag, and he saw the throw coming. I'm not sure why he didn't get down.
Even if it looked like he had been out, Craig Counsell could not challenge it. Schwarber will be intentionally walked to load the bases. So a double for Contreras, his 9th already. Schwarber walks, and it's Addison Russell who's 2 for 2 with a triple. And the go-ahead run. So home to third in just over 12 seconds. Play a double play depth on the infield. It's inside for a ball.
A chance to be the man of the match here today, at least offensively. As you mentioned, 2 for 2 already. Now, big opportunity here. Cubs put a crooked number on the board. Craig Counsell will feel like he's down 10, the way his offense has struggled.
Both hits to the off field. Davies 1-0 offering. Kane makes the catch. Rizzo will score. So Russell with 3 productive plate appearances, and it's 2-0. That'll be it for the starter, Davies.
Do it, Andy.
It'll be a lefty-lefty matchup when we return. Cubs 2, Milwaukee nothing in the 6th. Of the Chicago Cubs, it's southpaw Dan Jennings. And the bullpen off to a really good start.
Yeah, he's one of a handful of guys out there with sub-2 ERAs. He's working for the 15th time, the 2nd time in this series. 2-1 with that 146, 12 1/3 innings of work. He's allowed 8 hits, 3 walks, 8 strikeouts. Primary job, get left-handed hitters out, and he's done a very nice job of that. They're hitting just 0.59 against him. There was a lot of sliders.
Run in. have Contreras at second and Schwarber at first. Hayward has walked and struck out. And his first 2 tries, both coming against the starter Davies.
He just got a little anxious last time with Russell standing down on third base and nobody out. Went out of the strike zone to try to drive him in.
Well, the lefty-lefty thing hasn't bothered Hayward a bit against Jennings in the previous matchups.
Apparently didn't bother Craig Counsell either. He's not influenced by those numbers.
Fouled behind the plate. Justin Wilson cranking it up. Chatwood is on deck. A win today, and the Cubs would improve to 7-1 versus Milwaukee. Fly ball out into right. Yelich will make the catch. He had to leave his feet to do so as he was navigating that sun. They add to their lead on the sac fly by Russell, and it's 2-0 as we go to the 7th. Cubs now lead 2-0. It's that quality at bat Joe Madden talked about earlier.
Yeah, when you're up there in that sac fly situation, you definitely want to be thinking middle of the diamond. Try to pull, that's when you run the risk of that rollover ground ball. Try to keep your hands inside the ball, think for something up, think middle away. It's more likely to get the ball airborne with that approach.
So Chatwood into the 7th. Still has allowed just 2 hits. He has retired 10 in a row, facing Shaw, Aguilar, and VR. First pitch is off the inside corner.
He's only thrown strike 1 to 8 of 22 batters face, but it has not hurt him.
Sprayed foul by Shaw.
2 walks. They both came in early in the game. Kane to lead off the ball game, and then VR with 1 out in the second.
Another big crowd on hand today. 40,895. 1-2. Pirates are the first place club, and they've got a 5-0 lead going to the 9th against the Cardinals. Nick Kingham was amazing in his major league debut today. Perfect into the 7th. He went 7, gave up 1 hit, no runs, struck out 9 Cardinals.
Did not walk a man.
Well, that's going to go down as one of the best major league debuts for a starting pitcher, certainly in recent memory.
Yeah, fantasy players will be falling all over themselves trying to pick him up.
Should be the 1 week you'd want to be in last place with that first waiver claim. Called strike 3. Pitch number 8.
On a piece of Cubs history as part of the Cubs' ongoing effort to restore and modernize Wrigley Field, several sections of seats have been or will be removed. These seats are now available to purchase in sets of 2. Visit Cubs.com/seat sale for more information. Big group out there on Gallagher Way today. Hello, everybody. Especially you. Yeah, you.
Ball 1 to Aguilar. Cannot even imagine the frustration mounting in the first base dugout this weekend. Not just their lack of runs, but lack of quality scoring chances, to borrow a hockey phrase.
You know, they have not put many pucks on net, have they?
They really haven't. 3-0 to Aguilar.
And people will try to draw a broader narrative if the Cubs go on to sweep this series. It's been a big statement and things of that nature. But baseball being baseball, sometimes it's just it's hard to make those claims in a small sample.
Three and 1. Saw Luke Farrell up alongside Justin Wilson. Guessing Pedro Strop might be down today. And maybe even Steve Cishek. He's worked a couple in a row. Been real busy here in the early going. That is ball 4. And it brings up VR.
Number 5, second baseman, Jonathan VR.
VR showing bunt, takes the pitch outside. Aguilar, not a guy we would expect to be moving unless they put on a hit and run. 1-0 pitch. It's low. Jim Hickey and Wilson Contreras both had the same thought. They both sprinted out of their spots after that last pitch.
Yeah, and I think maybe just to address something mechanically, maybe put a positive thought in Tyler's head. Hey, don't worry so much about the base runner. Got a 2-0 lead here. He's not going anywhere. Buy a little time for the boys in the bullpen to get heated up as well.
We've seen Tyler at times this year. We've seen his command go south in a hurry, where all of a sudden he just starts misfiring. So, good idea to address that right now. Try to nip it in the bud.
First time he's pitched from the stretch since the third.
I would think VR would be taking here.
Yep,
Nope.
he hits
Oh
a
my,
bouncer
what a
to
gift.
short, and they turn it 6-4 to 3.
Good meeting, Jim Hickey.
Yeah. Ready to sing. It's the St. Xavier University 7th inning stretch, 2-0.
Please direct your attention to the outfield video boards.
All right. Let me hear you. Good and loud. On one, on two, on three. Take me out to the ball game. Take me out to the crowd. Buy me some peanuts and Cracker Jack. I don't care if I ever get back. Oh, it's root for the Cubby. If they don't win, it's a shame. For it's 1, 2, 3 strikes, you're out at the old.
Ian Happ pinch hitting for Chatwood. 2-0 Cubs. Swing and a miss by the switch hitter.
Ian's at-bats have dwindled here of late, with Albert Almora Jr. gaining steady playing time out in center field.
Chatwood's ERA down to 2.83. There's Carl Edwards Jr. after 7 shutout innings. Fouled upstairs. Still on 2.
He's 3 out of 3 as a pinch hitter this year with a home run.
Now, I don't know for sure, but if this were an American League game, Joe might consider Chatwood pitching in the 8th inning, but it's kind of an easy decision here with his spot leading off to take him out. This is the one circumstance where I will give Mike Scioscia, as Happ strikes out, credit. More on that in a second. As we promised earlier, it's time for the Miller Lite Hold True moment.
Yeah, 2 big double plays for the Cubs in this ball game. Back in the first, Shaw bounces into the 3-6-1 double play, and then last inning, VR, I'm surprised he was swinging on 2-0. And beats it into the ground to short. 6-4-3, inning over.
You see his frustration, but Tyler Chatwood loved every minute of it.
Don't let me forget the Mike Sosha quote.
Mike Sosha. I'm going to put a little note here on my scoreboard.
2-0 Cubs. Pitching change. Here's Matt Albers. We'll be back.
Play with your club card this April for the chance to win an Alaskan cruise for 2, 6 each Thursday. It's Alaskan Cruise Boat only at Potawatomi. Learn more at paysbig.com.
It's the BioFreeze call to the pen. And it is veteran right-hander Matt Albers with 1 out, nobody on. Almora and Baez coming up, both with career best 11-game hitting streaks on the line, both 0 for 3.
The Albers-Albert matchup. Sinkers and sliders from Matt Albers.
Inside for a ball. So a few years ago, Mike Sosha tried to make the claim that it was more difficult to manage in the American League than the National League, because he basically said there are moments in the National League where the pitcher spot comes up. It's the obvious time to take your starter out. Okay. I would say today he's right. But I think without the DH, it was easy for Joe to have Happ hit for the pitcher.
Yeah, I got my pitcher spot leading off. Do I want to try to squeeze one more inning out of him, or go ahead and pinch hit for him?
And I would say in general there were more difficult decisions for an NL manager. Hit well, but it's going to hold up for Kane. You can agree or disagree.
No, I agree. I think it's I mean, they pinch hit far less in the American League. Don't use their bench as much.
Yeah, I mean, an NL manager on a day like this can go, hey man, I'd leave you in, but
and I think the decision-making part of it, the instance you're talking about with Mike Sosha, whether to leave your pitcher in or not because you got a chance to pinch hit for him, isn't that much more difficult? It's the selling of it to your pitcher. Like in the American League, you can't use that excuse to your starter if you pull him. Well, I had to hit for you here. We had a chance to score some runs.
Right. Baez grounds out. Top 2 guys haven't reached, but the Cubs still lead this game 2-0 late.
nice double play ball right after a mound visit from new pitching coach Jim Hickey, who, according to some of the pitchers who also dealt with him in Tampa Bay, he had a nickname, the Sorcerer, because once he came out to the mound, he just waved his wand, and likely a double play ball was to follow. Now, guys, Jim Hickey didn't know this was a nickname that had been given to him. He had, however, heard that he was somewhat of a master with the wand, and he's like, you know, I just didn't know they were calling him the Sorcerer, but he liked it. Whatever kind of magic works.
Yeah, great visit today. Thank you, Kelly. Carl Edwards Jr. against Orlando Arcia. So Arcia, looks like Eric Sogard for Bandy, and then another pinch hitter for Albers coming up.
Well, Carl Edwards Jr. has been flat out dominant so far this year. 0.71 ERA, 12 2/3 innings. He has struck out 21 batters, walking only 4, allowing just 7 hits. And a whole lot of that with the slender right-hander out there. He's allowed 1 run this year. Came back on March 31st, his second appearance of the year down in Miami.
Pirates did beat the Cardinals. They swept the series. Two and 1 on Arcia.
This is Carl's third appearance in this series. Worked an inning in each of the first 2 games. Scoreless, hitless.
Three and 1. So Pittsburgh now winners of 5 in a row, 17 and 11. Cardinals dropped to 15 and 12. Arcia to lead off the 8th.
Didn't we hear Arcia? Wasn't it yesterday there was a pitch inside on him and he made that guttural noise as well?
He did. So Sogard, who was on deck, will actually stay on deck. Domingo Santana will take this plate appearance. So Sogard will hit for the pitcher. Santana now for Bandy.
Santana has power. He has not homered yet this year, but he's much more likely to knock one out of the ballpark than Sogard. And should Santana reach, Sogard might be a good candidate to bunt him along. Maybe we're thinking of Craig Counsell.
The walk has been the best offensive weapon for the Brewers in this game. They've drawn 4 of them. They only have 2 hits.
Right-handed batters have just 3 hits against Carl so far this year. 3 hits and 29 at-bats. It's a 103 batting average. They've all been singles.
One and 2.
Long, fluid arm action, gives you that high front side, hides the ball well, then comes at you with 95 cutting.
Nick Kingham, that great debut today, is from Las Vegas. another major league player from Vegas. Amazing. 2-2. So just add him to the list. Bryant, Harper, and many, many more.
Kid that pitched for the Rockies against us, Anderson, right? He's a Vegas
Tyler
guy.
Anderson, Tommy Pham, Joey
Carrot
Gallo.
Top.
Carrot Top. The Golden Knights. 3-2.
I'm guessing this is a no-go situation, even though Arcia moves well, capable of stealing a bag here, but more likely to get the strikeout than a ball on the ground here with this combination of Santana hitting, Edwards pitching.
Called strike 3.
Cub fans, show your team pride with Cubs checking and an official Cubs MasterCard debit card only available at your local Wintrust Community Bank. Go to wintrust.com/Cubs to learn more. Members FDIC. Well, it's been a pretty generous zone today. That ball appeared to be a little bit off the plate inside. The cutter actually backed up a little bit on Edwards.
As you said, Cedarstrom's strike zone's been fairly generous, and Santana, who has a good eye, thought it was ball 4. Strike 1 to Sogard. Sogard 0 for his last 19, 2 for his last 34. So 2 ways to put it. He's been freezing cold, and or he's due, however you want to look at it.
2 out of 7 in the pinch this year.
Bryant plays even with the bag, and runner goes. Pitch is high, throw backed up by Baez. Arcia steals second. Scoring position has been pretty unfamiliar territory for the Brewers this weekend.
Not a huge lead, but a pretty good jump in. Edwards, long, slow delivery. Forces Contreras to really try to be quick back there behind the plate, and didn't get off a very accurate throw. And even if it was, I think Arcia is going to be safe.
They actually have a hit today with a runner in scoring position. Popped up. But that did not score a run, and neither with this. Pop out to Bryant. 2 down.
Number 6, center fielder, Lorenzo Payne.
A combination of things. So one again, the weather, cold, wind blowing in for this series. Certainly favoring the pitchers, and then the Cubs rotation really starting to hit their stride. Not only in this series, but in the last week or so, starters have been outstanding.
Swing and a miss by Kane on a fastball that caught a big part of the plate, but as you talk about so often, that natural cutting action from Carl Edwards. That was a pretty defensive swing before 2 strikes.
Yeah, I mean, that's, you know, in terms of what he brings to the table out there, it's reminiscent of Mariano Rivera or Kenley Jansen.
That was a little reminiscent of Mark the Bird Fidrich.
Having a little self chat.
Pumping himself up here on an 0-2. Kane just held up on the curveball. I see it takes off, doesn't matter. Kane strikes out. 2 for Edwards in the 8th. And they strand a man at second. Still 2-zip. MLB at Bat is your #1 Cubs app. Customize your experience to catch every moment this season. Get Cubs home screen icons and features like the MLB.TV Game of the Day, pitch tracking, in-game highlights, live radio broadcast, stats, news, and more. Download MLB at Bat today. Taylor Williams now pitching. Manny Pena now catching. Bryant lifts in the air down the right field line and foul.
Williams, a hard-throwing right-hander, is pitching for the 8th time. No wins, no losses at 216. You see he's racked up the strikeouts as well. 15 Ks and 8 1/3 innings of work. Mid-90s heater and a slider.
It will be Brandon Morrow in the 9th. He will face Yelich, Braun, and Shaw. Last time we saw Morrow, he mowed him down pretty quickly on Friday. As Bryant is rung up. One down.
First baseman, Anthony Rizzo.
Hefty home run leaderboard time. Baez and Schwarber tied for the team lead with 7. I mentioned earlier Rizzo hit one in the season opener. Still looking for his second. Contreras hit his first of the year earlier this week. Addison Russell still trying to get on the board. But if the Cubs win today, they're 15-10. And it's one of those deals where if you go, I told you a month in, Anthony Rizzo would have 1 homer and batting about $160, but the Cubs were 15-10.
You'd take it.
You'd take it, and he would too.
He'd kind of take it. That was fun. Gary Cedarstrom, that ball bounced all the way to the backstop. I don't think Gary realized where the ball was.
It's foul by Rizzo. We just read our MLB at Bat promo. Jeff Garland watching us on the MLB at Bat app today.
Hi, Jeff.
Hi to Jeff. He's been enjoying this series. A 1-2 to Rizzo. All right.
Check out Gary Cedarstrom here on this ball in the dirt. I thought it was going to hit Anthony. It's right through the 5-hole there, and he doesn't even move. Tremendous concentration. Or complete lack of awareness, one or the other. I'm not sure which, but he's one of the senior members of the umpiring crew. He's been at it a long time.
24 years on the full-time staff. VR to Aguilar. Gary Cedarstrom is from Minot, North Dakota.
Number 40, the catcher, Wilson Contreras.
The marketing slogan up there? Why not Minot? Beautiful country up there.
Yeah. You know, that's Dakota country.
Yeah. The Badlands.
On Contreras, 97. And a lot of life from Williams. That will be caught by Braun. Contreras hit it right on the screws. He's had a good day. A couple of hits. He's catching a shutout through 8 innings. To the 9th. 2-0. Arenado, first pitch back from the suspended list against the Cubs with an opposite field home run on the Cubs' last road trip. And Zobrist now playing left field for Schwarber. And it's the closer, Brandon Morrow. DJ LeMahieu, by the way, has been day-to-day with a right hamstring issue, so we'll see if he'll be in the lineup tomorrow for the Rockies.
So far, so good for Brandon Morrow. 6 save opportunities. He's converted all of them, and he's posted an ERA of 0.
I would make the comparison to Wade Davis in this regard. He's got a real good mound presence, doesn't he?
Mm-hmm.
What did Joe call it? The 1,000-yard stare?
Yeah, he's got that look. Even better than the look is he's got 99 miles per hour.
That's 97. Just getting warmed up. Strike to Yelich. It's also a really good story when you consider all Brandon Morrow has been through and has come into his own as a short reliever. Sharply hit grounder, a little bobble, but Russell's got some time and he gets Yelich. Let's check out the fast pitch of the game. Presented by Xfinity, America's best internet service provider. 98. Yelich rounding out.
Yeah, not wasting any time, was he? Just pumping one fastball after another in there, challenging the strike zone. Threw first pitch strikes 69% of the time last year, working out of the Dodger bullpen. Not quite that high so far this year, but you get the sense his MO is just let's get after it, boys. And for a short reliever in high leverage situations, even guys with the big arms, a lot of times that's not the case. A tendency to pitch away from contact and maybe nibble a little bit, but right now watching Morrow pitch, it's like it's fearless.
0-2 on Braun. Morrow did something only one pitcher previously had ever done. He pitched in all 7 games of the World Series. That was with the Dodgers last year. Darrell Knowles of the A's did it in 1973 as well. And that's why the Cubs really backed off in terms of his spring training appearances.
Yeah, and there's no sense of urgency for a short reliever in spring training. You don't have to really build up that many innings to get ready to pitch in the regular season.
Lined to Hayward, 2 down. Well, they hit the ball hard twice, right at Cubs defenders. Chatwood, Edwards, Morrow combining so far on a 2-hitter. Singles by Braun and Yelich early.
Yeah, this bullpen, I talk about the great work by the rotation of late. The bullpen's been outstanding all year long.
Fans on their feet. Yeah, it's been a clinic. The Cubs pitching staff in this series. Looking for a potential 5 shutouts in a calendar month against the same club. It's amazing. Not out of the woods yet. 1-1 to Shaw. 2-1.
Yeah, and this is a good Brewer lineup. They're going to score plenty of runs this year. Whoop.
Aguilar represents the tying run. He's in the on-deck circle. See if Morrow can get back in it here against Shaw on a 3-1. 3-2.
Oh, Shaw went after a bad one. Turbo sinker down. Shaw in a hitter's count. Took a big swing at it.
Brewers have 14 hits in the series, the fewest they've ever had in a 4-game series. 16 back in 1977 at Kansas City, September of that year. On a bounce, Baez to Rizzo, and the Cubs get off the brooms. They sweep all 4 games. They hold Milwaukee to 2 runs total. They've won 7 out of 8 against one of the top contenders in the division. What a weekend.
Dominant pitching, just enough hitting. The Brewers threw the ball well. Also, conditions again not favorable to score a bunch of runs, but impressive work by the Cubs. Will outperform the Brewers in every phase of the game in winning these 4 ball games.
Our toast of the game is presented by Binny's Beverage Depot. Tyler Chatwood gets the honors today.
Second consecutive win for Tyler. Will make him 2-3 now. Not a big strikeout game for him. He struck out 4, walked 3, but allowed just 2 measly hits. After a little bit of a shaky start, he settled in, and he did this too. He drove in what proved to be the winning run.
Binny's Beverage Depot, the official champagne provider of the Chicago Cubs. You see what the starters did in this series. Did not allow an earned run the whole weekend. Cubs win, Cubs win. And Kelly is down on the field for our On the Diamond interview. It's presented by James & Sons Fine Jewelers. Kelly.
Thanks a lot, guys. Well, Addison, the leadoff triple there in the 5th. How good of a sign is it for you to really be hitting the ball hard and the other way?
It feels great. It feels great. I feel like, I've been in every at bat. Especially with the team stepping up. I feel like I'm in the batter's box with them. It's just nice to see something go good today.
Absolutely. Well, you have had some tremendous starting pitching. Tyler Chatwood does it again today. The 6th straight quality start. How are they setting the tone right now?
They're throwing strikes early, they're mowing batters down. I think that they're coming in with a solid game plan, and they're executing. They throw the ball and we field the ball, and our starting pitching staff has been doing great.
Well, 3 shutouts in this series. You guys sweep the Brewers out of town. Now, I know it's early in the year, but how do you evaluate doing that against a team in your division?
It feels great. It feels great. It gives us a lot of confidence, especially with the team in our division. It gives us a lot of confidence.
Awesome. Addison, thank you so much for your time. I appreciate it.
Thank you.
Guys.
Kelly, thank you. And for his time, Addison will receive a $500 gift card from James & Sons Fine Jewelers. So for JD, for Kelly, and our entire NBC Sports Chicago crew here at Wrigley Field, Len Casper inviting you to join us tomorrow. It's Cubs Authentic Fan Night here at Wrigley Field, and we'll hit the air at 5:30 for our pregame coverage as the Rockies come in for a 3-game series, and it's going to be warm. We can't wait. Blue Cross Blue Shield of Illinois postgame live is coming up. Cubs 2, Brewers nothing, the final. Stay with us.